Let's talk about Elizabeth Edwards and some comments that she is making that her husband, she believes, is more of a feminist than Hillary Clinton. Let's go ahead and take a look at this, the quotes in which she says that, this is Elizabeth Edwards talking about Hillary Clinton. She's not just as vocal a woman advocate as I want to see. I'm not convinced that she'd be as good an advocate for women. She needs a rationale greater for her campaign than I've heard. When she announced her candidacy, she said, I'm in it to win it. What is that? That's not a rationale.
I know, like Elizabeth Edwards, the public really admires her because she's so self-evidently intelligent, authentic, and courageous given her medical condition. I was really surprised and thinking a big mistake for the spouse of a candidate, be it Bill Clinton or someone as formidable also as Elizabeth Edwards, to comment on a rival. And to use a woman to comment on Hillary Clinton's feminine attributes in terms of being an advocate for women, it can only backfire. I don't know how thoughtful this was. I'm reading Carl Bernstein's book.
Was it desperation, Mark? Well, look, do you agree with me? I think it was born of desperation.
Well, the reason I don't think it's desperation is while John Edwards is trailing financially and in national polls, he's slightly ahead in Iowa. This guy is not at 2%. And I'm finishing...
The Edwards campaign is not over?
Oh, absolutely not. You see, if I were what he does, he's ahead in Iowa. That's not nothing. He just has to hope to maintain his dignity, his issues, like them or not, and then if at the end, hypothetically, Obama and Clinton go at it, as Gebhardt and Dean went at it 4 years ago, allowing Kerry to slip through, then he has a chance to win. But to question Hillary Clinton on women's issues, again, I'm finishing Carl Bernstein's book on Hillary Clinton. It's tough to argue that as she was growing up as a child, a student, a women's advocate, and then a white spouse of a presidential candidate, she was an ardent women's advocate. And I think it looks small, and my guess is they'll regret it.
Hosanna to the highest. Mark and I agree. It happens on this issue. It happens. Everybody admires Elizabeth Edwards because of her personal triumphs and the personal problems. But nobody takes what she said seriously on this issue. On other issues, yes. And it was a terrible mistake, born, as Al said, of desperation.
In your opinion, is the Edwards campaign over?
Over.
Okay, well, Mr. Greenfield is not. You feel that it is.
I don't think it's over, but
feel...
I think it's troubled. I thought it would be better positioned, and I think they've run into trouble. I think their numbers show that, and that's why this attack.
Now, do you believe Thompson can beat Rudy Giuliani? I know Republican primaries tend to be more conservative. Do you really think Thompson can beat?
One more objective than Al on this matter. Less knowledgeable, but more objective on a Republican primary. It's likely Thompson would beat Giuliani. What has been underemphasized is 4 months ago in a multi-candidate field, Giuliani was at 35%. AP today, 21%. A 14 percentage point fall in 3 months as people have gotten to know his personal history, his views, Carrick, whatever it is. The firefighters ad, fair or not, boom. Fred Thompson hasn't started running. He's at 19%. It's easy to work up a storm against Rudy Giuliani. We all in our careers have done it. It's hard to get angry at a kind of friendly figure like Fred Thompson. Now, I don't think he has almost any Senate record to speak of to compete with Hillary Clinton. But that's a high-minded, substantive argument that we'll have in future weeks.
So you're telling me that Ed Koch is right when he has predicted week after week that no Republican candidate can win
That's
this
another issue.
Race?
I hope Ed is right. But we'll see. In fact, the generic Democrat versus the generic Republican for president today, an astonishing 54% for the Democrat, 35% for the Republican, not using names. It's
Even
closer.
if it's Hillary Clinton?
When you use names, you get somewhat closer. Listen, because of this outrageous, depleting war, a majority of Americans, Iraqis, and the world want us gone. Tonight, the U.S. Senate is obviously going to have a real filibuster, not just a handshake. So the country is divided. If you count 3-1 against the war and Bush as divided. So that is going to count for far more than some of the, is Thompson the next Ronald Reagan. But one of 3 Republicans could be the next president. and it's Romney, Thompson, and maybe Giuliani. It's not McCain, as we've discussed over the last few weeks.